Welcome to CFC Fan TV. I've got Charlie the Hurricane Skillen in the house because we have an awful lot to get through. There's been a lot of developments going on lately, hasn't there?
It's been great, isn't it?
It's been great.
Finally signed a striker.
We've got the striker that we needed because we all know that Diego Costa's going to leave. Sad times, but that one is definitely happening.
Yeah.
And we've signed Antonio Conte's first choice. Fair to say?
Very much so. I said that from the start and I stand by that. Romelu Lukaku, we all know, was Chelsea Football Club's first choice. And when I say Chelsea Football Club, I mean the board and the hierarchy.
Emanalo.
Particularly Michael Emanalo, who we know has a lot of sway in terms of who comes in. But Antonio Conte himself, while he was on board with the whole Lukaku thing, I feel like his first choice was Alvaro Morata. And we ran stories at the time saying that, and so did everyone. And yeah, I think you've got to be really happy about it. I can't pretend that I've seen Morata play every single game he's ever played, but
what are the boys in Spain though? What are the journalists?
I spent the last couple of days talking to them. They're really, really positive about it. You've got to think, yes, he didn't have a lot of playing time, but he's trying to get in ahead of Ronaldo, Bale, and Benzema.
Yeah, so no shame not getting in that lineup.
Exactly, and when he did come on, he tried really hard. Apparently, he's an absolute joy to work with off the pitch, which is unlike certain other striker we've come to know and love. He's only 24. He's big as well. He's 6'2". He's very good in the air, and
this one is as good as done.
Oh yeah, it's done. It's done. I mean, he's in London now, just finalising all the terms, and I'll be very it will be, he'll be holding up the shirt and all that nonsense within the next 24, 48 hours.
From Singapore.
No, he's in London at the minute, and he'll be flying out to Singapore to meet up with the rest of the team. They're playing Arsenal on Saturday in China. They're then travelling to Singapore, and that is where Morata will meet his new teammates, and that's going to be really exciting.
Yes. Are we happy? Are you happy with this? Do you think this is a good one?
Yeah.
Were you heartbroken about the lack of Romelu Lukaku in your life?
No, not at all. Not at all. Personally, no. I think Lukaku's all-round game leaves something to be desired. He's undoubtedly scored goals in the Premier League, which Morata obviously doesn't have to his bow yet, anyway. And but no, I am excited because we've resolved a massive problem. I would have been happy with Lukaku just about, but this whole situation where it was like one of Belotti or Aubameyang or Aguero, and no one really knew what was happening. The fact that we've now got our man and we haven't left it till deadline day. We've got it, and he's going to be training with the team, pre-season friendlies, and he's going to score 3 against Arsenal in the Charity Shield and another 3 against Tottenham away. Is good news.
It all felt very flat about 10 days ago, didn't it? I mean, people were really upset. Monitoring the mood on Twitter, people were really gutted that we missed out on Lukaku. It's actually going all right, isn't it? We signed a player in each position.
We sort of snatched a little victory from the jaws of defeat, really. I mean, we signed a very promising midfielder. We've obviously signed Rudiger, and now, we've signed an attacker, and I think they might well sign another central midfielder because you're kind of left with Bakayoko, Kante, Fabregas.
So you're assuming Matic is going to leave the club?
Yeah, Matic has been frozen out big time by Conte. I mean, he's obviously not in China. He's training on his own at Cobham. He was all set for a move to Man United, but the club, after the Lukaku thing, are not going to do business with United anymore unless they pay like another 10 million quid, which they're not going to. Juventus looks a real likely one.
Is that what Chelsea have done? Just put Matic's price up massively?
Yeah, you're not having him now.
Super.
Yeah. Juventus is the one that's really in for Matic, but again, that comes with its own complications because Chelsea want Sandro, who now Juventus are adamant they won't sell because they just sold Bonucci to AC Milan.
Right.
So it's this kind of merry-go-round thing. But Matic will go at some point.
Okay. Do you know there was some other news that came out of the club this week that I was really happy about, and it was Antonio Conte talking about the brilliance of Cesc Fabregas.
Yeah.
And didn't he say something where he basically conceded that he probably should have played him more last season?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people thought that, particularly in some of the games towards the end of the season where you could see the invention in midfield wasn't really there.
But we saw that so early. I mean, we were at Watford away. And Fabregas came on, defence splitting pass, Costa scored, we won 2-1, and that really set the tone for the season.
Yeah, it did.
He is an exceptional football player, Fabregas.
We're very, very lucky to have him, and I think this time last year he almost left, and even in as late as kind of January, February, I mean even as late as the end of the season really, you could have said, well, Fabregas probably won't be at the club.
He did very well. Do you know what? Thinking about it this time last year, you're right, he did nearly leave, but do you know what he did and I have so much time and respect for, in a similar way to Ashley Cole did it.
Yeah.
They stay and they fight for their place. And ultimately, Cesc Fabregas won that war because Cesc Fabregas was out of Conte's plans, and Conte was playing in all of the pre-season games. He was playing Oscar.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? This time last year, it was all about Oscar.
Yeah, who is now
like kicking lumps out of people in China.
I wish he's showed a bit more of that backbone at Chelsea.
And Cesc Fabregas is going to be playing and representing Chelsea Football Club in the Champions League.
Him and Conte have had a conversation early this summer where Conte has kind of, eased his mind and said, "Look, you are in my plans. Should have played him more last season." And I think he's going to be a key player yet again for Chelsea, which is great news because I've been critical of him at times and I think he's deserved that criticism at times where he's gone a little bit missing. But I think last season, ironically, even though he probably played the least amount of minutes, was his best season with Chelsea. He was like the ultimate pro. Yeah. Come on,
score a goal, make a goal, lob Petr Cech.
Happy days.
Yeah. So how do you think that plays out from midfield? Do you think that will mean 3 in the middle?
I think we'll see a variety of options because we're going to have to be playing so many more games, particularly if we get to the stage of competitions where we want to be. You've got to say it'd be disappointing if we went out in the group stage.
But even if we do, it's still 6 extra games before Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And not only that, it's Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, whatever. Yeah. So I think, when you're talking about Chelsea's first 11, I don't really think we'll have one. But 3 midfield, for midfield it works great because you'll have Kante and Bakayoko being the shield and Bakayoko providing the energy and then Fabregas being kind of the schemer, as it were. Yeah. But the repercussions on the rest of the team I'm not so sure about. Pedro doesn't fit that, for example.
You can't do anything to a starting lineup that doesn't incorporate Pedro.
It also doesn't put Hazard in his best position. No. Coming in from the left.
It also negates Hazard's skill because I think a lot of the time where Hazard would be masterful, it would be because the defence was stretched because they were worried about Costa, they were worried about Pedro, they were worried about Hazard, but they couldn't put all their thoughts into Hazard, so he would capitalise. Whereas if Pedro's not on the pitch, they just double up on Hazard and ultimately will be dispossessed.
And the other thing is, if you're playing that formation, you'd say Morata, who's obviously going to start up front, he arguably wouldn't have any defensive responsibility. Hazard in a kind of free role certainly wouldn't. Fabregas wouldn't, and that's already 3 players. Yeah. And we know in modern football, particularly under a manager like Conte, everybody pitches in, and it doesn't really work. So no, I'm not sure about that, but I think you'll see a lot more of him. I think Bakayoko is obviously a player that's still learning his game. He's 22, so there's going to be West Brom at home. You might not see Bakayoko, you'll see Kante and Fabregas, or you might see Bakayoko and Fabregas. So I think he's going to be a lot more ready to play Fabregas, which is great news.
Yeah, superb. We're in such a privileged position, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because we have players I was just thinking about the different combinations in midfield there. Irrespective of who the opposition are, I feel like we have a perfect combination. Yeah. Sometimes it will be Bakayoko and Kante. Sometimes it will be the 3. Sometimes it will be Fabregas and Kante. Really does work well.
And look, it wouldn't surprise me to see them sign another one. Right. Because 3 senior players for 2 positions.
Although is Lewis Baker in the mix?
I think he's certainly in the mix, and I'd love to see him play as much as Chalobah did, or even more than that. Let's hope he's not sold next summer. He's in the mix, but all I'm saying, it wouldn't surprise me to see them sign another one. The place I think they really need cover, even upgrading really, is I'd certainly upgrade where Moses plays, and I'd bring in some competition. I'd bring in competition for both wing back roles, basically.
I think we certainly need. I think I would personally prioritise right back.
So would I. Look, Moses did a job last season, and I can't criticise anyone that played as many games as he did in such a great season. I think he was brilliant in that kind of October spell where we were beating Man United and Everton 4-5-0. I think he got exposed at times.
Well, cup final massively.
God, he had a really poor game, and you'd worry that would repeat itself if you get into the last stage of the Champions League.
Yes.
I agree with you. I'd like to see that upgraded, but we were massively in for Danilo from Real Madrid. That's now not happening. It seems bizarre that situation's changed in the last few days, but it has. He's going to Man City for like 26 million. They've now spent 80 million on right backs this season. Manchester City.
Nowhere near as much as we spent over a couple of years on left backs, though, is it?
No.
The Bubba Rahman glory days.
I'd kind of like to keep those glory days in the past.
Any other comings and goings? So you feel like another midfielder could arrive? Anyone else?
Yeah, they're going to have to sort out the wide positions. I'm a huge Alonso fan, and this isn't like massive concrete information, so don't kill me if this doesn't happen. But I think the one I'd watch out for is Ryan Bertrand.
Oh, what do you think there's some oxygen in Ryan Bertrand coming back to the club?
I do. The club needs English players. You know, as it stands, we've got one in the starting lineup, and you could even, you know.
Does he play with Rudiger?
I think he starts. In my mind, but
so Bertrand coming back.
It's not a certainty.
Ryan the Lion from Bayern.
From Brian
even.
Who's Brian?
Yeah, I'd love to see him back at the club.
So would I. Yeah. As I say, there's nothing massive happening in this yet, but I think he'd be keen. I know a lot of the fans would be
keen. I would love to see Ryan Bertrand back in the Chelsea shirt. It'd be a truly wonderful thing. What a happy note to leave this video on. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit of a free-for-all, really. Just kind of got Charlie in because there seems to be so much going on and thought that we could do with a bit of a chat about it, really. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment below, let us know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button right now.